Some people work extremely hard and still don't get that element of success. And some people don't really have to work very hard and success just comes very easy to them. And people will say, oh, this is so unfair. They're not working hard and they're getting. It's nothing is unfair in this world. What we are seeing as hard work is visible karma in this costume. But what we don't know is that soul has done some very, very good karmas in another costume, which the world of today cannot see. But it's just that my mother started practicing meditation. So, you suddenly have a little shift in the house. And she would say, Nahi, try it out, experiment. So it took a couple of years because I would just not listen.
Was life actually fine?
Yeah, life was fine because 25 years back, life was not what it is today. It's a very different world 25 years back. Very different. We didn't even have the word stress that time. In school and college, we've not used the word stress. It was only in physics. It was never in human emotions 25 years back.
I don't have much to say about this episode. I just want you to experience what I experienced. What I do promise you is that it will be heavy. BKShivani has been one of the most requested guests that we've ever had on the Ranveer Show. And every spiritual conversation like this expands my consciousness. And I certainly hope that it expands your consciousness as well. For more consciousness expanding conversations, make sure you follow us on Spotify. Every episode's available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. I send you lots of love. I send you lots of prayers. I send you lots of light. And I hope that lots of growth comes your way because of this episode. Sister Shivani on TRS. Om Shanti, Sister Shivani.
Om Shanti Ji.
I feel so relaxed just sitting in front of you. Usually with podcasts, I'm supposed to begin with a lot of high energy. And then there's some episodes like this where my energy is not low at all. It's just very centered. And that's often an outcome of who is sitting in front of me. So thank you for coming down to our space.
Thank you so much, Shukriya.
How are you feeling today?
Very nice. Because I just started with my morning class before coming here. So obviously when we begin the day with studying high energy words and sharing them.
Very stupid question to begin this conversation. But how much do you think sleep has to do with your reality once you sort of begin a spiritual journey? Do you think the amount of sleep required reduces? Because I've been meditating for maybe 6-7 years now, and every year I've seen a reduction in how much sleep I need. And it's definitely an outcome of age. Like as you age, you need lesser sleep. But the deeper my meditations go, the lesser sleep I need. Sometimes because maybe sleep is simulated in the meditation, but other times just because I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
No. Sleep depends on how the day has been. So if the day has been with a lot of clutter on the mind, stress, emotional fatigue, basically, not physical fatigue. So we sleep for charging of the body and for the mind, energizing of the body and the energizing of the mind. The kind of lifestyles we lead, body doesn't get very fatigued. We're living in AC homes, working in AC offices, driving in AC cars. Physical fatigue is for those who are doing physical work like construction or farmer. That's physical fatigue. But most of us are experiencing emotional fatigue. So if my mind during the day has created a lot of lower vibrational energy, which means stress, anger, critical, judgmental thinking, just even in my mind, even if it's not in my words and behavior, getting hurt, feeling let down, so the lower vibrational energy. So then my mind is tired. It's fatigued. And what will happen is, as are the quality of my thoughts during the day, so will also be the quality of my thoughts in the night during my sleep. So that's why when we are disturbed, we don't even fall off to sleep easily. It takes time to go to sleep because the mind is not going into the delta stage. So during the day, we are in the beta plus stage, which is a lot of thinking. Then we go from beta plus to beta to alpha, that is dream stage, which is also where we go in meditation. Then theta, and then delta. Delta means absolutely deep sleep, where even if somebody makes a noise around you, you won't come to know. It's one of those minutes. But when we are very turbulent emotions during the day, we're not able to go very easily into the delta stage. So we are in that beta alpha stage very often. We tend to wake up in the middle of the night, then again try to fall off to sleep because we haven't gone into that theta delta stage. So that way we will take longer. We need longer. And today, if you see people, even after sleeping longer hours, don't get up very fresh and energetic in the morning. They feel like sleeping a little more because the body's energized and rested, but the mind is still tired because they were thinking even in their sleep. Dreams, turbulent emotions, even during sleep. Also depends on what content I was consuming before going to sleep. So many of us are with our phone before sleeping. So, again, consuming either the world news or some kind of media which is not very soothing and calming before sleeping. So, if that's my lifestyle, I will need more sleep.
I often wonder why the older generations in India, but pretty much all over the world, actually consume this much news.
Yes.
Like, I feel it's important to know about your world, but not kind of be addicted to it. This whole 8 p.m. news, 9 p.m. news, it's so late in the day. And I often see folks my age kind of not in that system, even in their late 20s. They prefer kind of not consuming old school media like television, etc.
Yes.
I mean, the narrative all over the world is that old school media is manipulated in many ways because of many angles. But these kind of elements, which are sort of, I mean, I want to call it lower vibrational elements. It could be this, it could be violence on TV. And, violence of all sorts, even emotional violence.
Yes.
To some degree, I would even say some soap operas where there is emotional violence as a
Yes.
part of the story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you think we are heading into a phase of human history where these things are moving away and aspects like spiritualism, like meditation are actually rising? Like, the real question here is, do you think we're moving into a sort of age of light in the 2020s and 2030s? Because I know for a fact that even with me, all these meditation and these things didn't make sense to me in college. I used to laugh upon it.
Yes.
And it just came into my life in such a strong way.
Right.
So there has to be a reason it came into my life when I was meant to do this podcast and reach out to so many people.
Right.
And that just makes me question the age we're going into, because when I talk to people in their 30s and 40s, they say that we weren't like you in your 20s.
Yes.
And I tell them that I don't know I'm like this, but it's just situations that cause this.
But there are not many who are in their 20s today and are like this. So it's not about the age of the body. There could be somebody in their 20s and very inclined towards a meditative living. And there could be somebody in their 80s and still not interested. So it's not to do with the age of the body. It's to do with the intention of the soul. What it's like, there's a whole buffet around you. Are you more inclined towards the junk food or are you more inclined towards the healthy food? Which one are you going to choose doesn't really depend on your age. It just depends on your liking, your intentions.
Do you think many new souls are actually going for the healthy food? Because that's what we notice.
It's not about new souls. It could also be old souls. Because what we are going through right now is a time of a paradigm shift. So both the things are going to be happening at the same time. It's like the 3 a.m., 4 a.m. of the 24-hour cycle, where some people are in deep sleep and some people are beginning their awakening. So for someone, it's a good night. And for another one, it's a good morning. So it is that time. So this is what we call the transition. Like we go through a 24-hour cycle. So it's morning, afternoon, evening, night. Time is cyclic. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, time is cyclic. Similarly, there is a bigger world cycle. Golden Age, Silver Age, Copper Age, Iron Age, which in Hindi we call Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kalyug. Today's world is called Ghor Kalyug, which means peak of Iron Age. So we are here at that cusp where it is a peak of Iron Age, but it's also now going to be the beginning of the
Satyug.
Yes, absolutely. That's why you're inclined towards raising your vibration.
When you say it's going to be the beginning, how far are we really? Are we like 200 years away?
No, it's not that far
Okay.
away. Can't you see how lower the vibrations of Kalyug are moving?
Because of all this destruction happening in the world? Do you think?
Everything. It's not just destruction outside. It is about the decline inside. So this soul is like a battery, if we visualize it like a battery. So Satyug means battery fully charged. So there's divinity. And then as we take a body, rebirth, coming down, so morning to afternoon to evening to night, battery is. So that's when the vices are at its peak. So ego, lust, greed, jealousy, hurt, worry, now mental health issues also. So this is all meaning the mind is not at that higher vibrational energy. So we've reached here. So now how more longer are we going to be in this stage or go even? So this is the time of the transition where the night is coming to an end and the morning is beginning. So some people will be on the night side, still sleeping, and some people will start the awakening. So for example, if you say, I have started meditation, which means you have started raising your vibration, raising it from that lower vibrational frequency of what we used to be to raising to being calm, stable, accepting people, forgiving. So you're raising your vibration. But when you raise your vibration, it's not only your vibration, it radiates. Energy doesn't stay inside, energy radiates. So you're radiating your vibration into the collective energy of the planet. So when one soul raises their energy, it's not only about them, they radiate that into the collective consciousness of the planet. So the energy of the planet is going to shift. So don't need a very big number, just need a small number, which is called the tipping point. When that small number compared to the 800 crore population of the planet, so we don't have to wait 800 crore people will think of meditating and raising. Small number, which is called the tipping point, when they raise their vibration, they will overpower the lower vibrational energy and the world will shift.
Were you always like this? Like since
Not
childhood?
at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. After the age of 25, I started.
After the age of 25?
Yeah.
What was happening between 20 and 25?
Between 20 and 25, I was doing my engineering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was doing my engineering and normal, college, fun, parties, the other kind of fun. Now it's the other kind of fun. So no, I was not at all like that. Not at all.
What happened?
Nothing happened actually. My life has been pretty smooth. I was good academically, everything was fine at home, so nothing happened. But it's just that my mother started practicing meditation. So, you suddenly have a little shift in the house. You see her. But then she used to keep telling me to do it. And the more she said it, the more I moved away because I didn't feel I needed it. I thought, why I need it? Life is fine. Why do I need to do this? And she would say, nahi, try it out, experiment. So it took a couple of years because I would just not listen.
Was life actually fine?
Yeah, life was fine because 25 years back, life was not what it is today. It's a very different world 25 years back. Very different. We didn't even have the word stress that time. We didn't have the word stress in school and college. We've not used the word stress. It was only in physics. It was never in human emotions 25 years back. So life was quite fine. And I didn't have any issues or problems outside. So I think in that era, we called that life fine, that there is no problem. And I think in that time in student life, only as long as you're doing academically fine, everything is okay. There's no other pressure. And I think it's my personality because she was asking me too much to do it. I was like, the more she asked, the more I went, no, I'm not interested. No,
That's
I'm
a lot
not
of
interested. Yeah, that's why. So, and I also felt, I don't know, I didn't find many things logical when I heard it the first time. So even after I tried, I again moved away, that I'm not understanding this scientifically. And then without any reason, like you said, without any reason it happens. One day I just said, today I want to learn it. But nothing had happened. It just came.
I've been thinking so much about time because whether it's my own existence, whether it is material success I see around me, or whether it is spiritual success I see in people who've started meditating early, it's always an outcome of situations, and those situations were put into those people's lives, which has made me think that it's definitely about an element of willpower and hard work and how much dedication you have towards processes. But so much of it is based on your own personality, which is again an outcome of time. Who were the people you met when you were a child? Who was in your family? When did they get into meditation? If some people work really hard in life, why do they work hard in life? Why are those same people drawn to sports, where you see athletes working hard and you're inspired from them? Like so much of the world and so much of the people's stories are pre-decided according to me.
Yes.
There's definitely an element of willpower and what's it called? When you do things yourself, like an element of self. But then there's such a huge element of time.
Yeah, so pre-decided by who?
I'm asking you that question.
You use the word pre-decided.
I've-
So pre-decided by, because it is pre-decided. But pre-decided by who?
By your own past.
Yeah, so that's it.
Okay.
So the element is not of time, the element is of my karma. Some people work extremely hard and still don't get that element of success. And some people don't really have to work very hard and success just comes very easy to them. And people will say, oh, this is so unfair. They're not working hard and they're getting. It's nothing is unfair in this world. Everything is fair. It's just that what we are seeing as hard work is visible karma in this costume. But what we don't know is that soul has done some very, very good karmas in another costume, which the world of today cannot see. And so, this consequence of success is not of only this hard work, it is the work that the soul has done on their journey of lifetimes. So, nothing is luck, nothing is coming out of nowhere, everything is pre-decided by the karma I, the soul, choose to create. So, karma and my destiny walk hand in hand.
If you've accumulated a certain amount of, I don't want to call it bad, but
Yeah.
like some kind of negative karma,
Right.
is there a way to erase it without actually going through the outcomes of it?
No, the outcome will always come. But if you have energized yourself, the way you will face the outcome will be different. And so there will be no suffering.
Like,
For example, before you started meditation and after you started meditation, see the way how you are responding to scenes of life. So, meditation is not about feeling calm only while meditating. Meditation creates a shift in our personality, and that personality is visible in the day to day karma. So, earlier, let's say what I was 25 years back, if something didn't go my way, I'll react. But at that time, I call that reaction as normal. That anger is normal, so I'll get angry because that's the vibration at which I was. It's a result of the sanskar and the karma that I have carried.
what is sanskar?
Sanskar means my nature. Anger is a sanskar. Like habits,
Personality?
personality. But personality is still, actually, there's no English word for sanskar. Personality is, today we call personality in terms of my body language, the way I speak. Sanskar is emotional patterns. Like criticism can be a sanskar, appreciation can be a sanskar, doubt can be a sanskar, trust can be a sanskar. So if you are a person who trusts very easily, so we will say trust is your nature. So trust is your sanskar. Somebody doubts very easily. That's their sanskar. Someone is very stable. Someone is very reactive. Emotional patterns, which have come with me from my past karma. And that's why the baby born has sanskars. Just the other day, I was with somebody who has twins, just 2 months old, twins. They don't look very similar. And the mother very sweetly said, she said, the day they were born, I can see they are so different. I said, how do you see in a 1 day old baby that they are different? She said, they're so different. One is so smiling. The other one is like, now the child has done no karma. It's just a 1 day old child. But 1 day is the age of the body. The soul. So the soul in the previous costume, if they were light, happy, smiling, they're just going to carry that sanskar, body changed. And the other soul, little grumpy, because that's how the soul was in the previous costume. So we are starting this birth with our karma and sanskars, and now the present karma. So you said if we've created any heavy baggage, could be in this birth, I could have made a lot of mistakes in this birth also, or I could carry from the past, doesn't matter. Consequence will come. But now if I have changed my way of responding, the consequence doesn't feel heavy.
It's like wearing a bulletproof costume.
Your way of responding to the situation will change. Like if I would react earlier, then the suffering is more for me. Today, the same situation, and I can be like, it's okay. There must be something good in this also. So now that situation is not creating an element of suffering for me because I've changed my present karma. So when we start meditation, we are creating a cleansing here, and this will help us to face the consequence of past karma, and this will help us to more or less create the right karma in the present.
I have a friend who actually asked me a question, and she only asked me this because I've been meditating longer than her, and I actually didn't have a solid answer. I'll tell you the way I answered it. But first, I'll tell you the question. The question was, how do you gauge that you're advancing in your meditation journey? And what I think learned on the podcast was someone had said that you need to spot your own behavioral patterns in terms of if there are angry situations, how do you react now versus how would you react a year ago or 2 years ago? Is that different? And that's progress. But there is also an element of deeper meditation experiences, you know, where maybe sometimes you get out of a half an hour long, 1 hour long meditation and you're just feeling like, whoa, where did I just go? You know, like what just happened? Like I've had meditations in my own life where sometimes it's gone so deep, you know, I'm meditating for the same amount of time every day. But on some days, maybe because of the situation, maybe because I'm on an empty stomach, I don't know why.
It makes a lot of difference.
I have these meditations where I could even like forget where I am. There's been a day where I've even forgotten my gender, my name. Like I just feel like I'm a being meditating.
Yes.
Now, how do you explain this to someone who's never meditated, firstly? But secondly, and more importantly, when someone started meditating, how do you gauge how much progress you're getting spiritually or from a meditation perspective?
A meditation experience can be different on different days, like you know, and you've experienced it. It's not always the same. So we don't try and, you know, say, oh, I want to feel that thing again, which I felt yesterday. So meditation experience can be different, but spiritual progress is not only about the meditation experience, because someone can have a very divine experience in their meditation, come out of that meditation, come into activity, because you can't be in that meditative state. But you need to be a meditative karam yogi. Karam yogi means while you are in your karam, in your action, you have to be a yogi. Yogi means in a meditative way of doing your karma. So that feeling which you are having while you are meditating should now also be your feeling while you are in activity. That divinity, that stillness, whatever you are experiencing during your meditation, the next stage will be you will feel that even while you are doing whatever you are doing. You could be in a crisis, you could be doing your work, you could be with people, but you are at a different vibration. So spiritual progress will be determined by how my feelings are now changing while I'm in activity, not only while in meditation. That is not, it's like, am I healthy while I'm at the gym? No. Am I healthy only when I'm with the doctor? No. I go there to get healthy. But then I have to check how is my stamina during the day. If earlier I could climb 2 flights of steps, now I should be able to climb 5 without getting breathless. That means my physical stamina is building up. Similarly, my spiritual stamina. Earlier, if I would react in my behavior, second would be my reaction would be just in my thoughts. Third stage would be my reaction is just there and it just finishes. Fourth will be I will not have any reaction. I will just respond. So it has to convert into a spiritual stamina. If I'm meditating but it is not converting into a spiritual stamina, it's time to check.
How long does it take? It's different for everyone?
It's different for everyone.
Okay.
But it's just a little attention, nothing else. Otherwise, if it's not converting into something, it's like you're creating an energy. Energy has to get converted in your activity. If it is not converting, then I need to check what I'm doing during meditation.
Okay. I hear you. And I think you've answered the question for a lot of people wondering about the same. There's another topic that people wonder about a lot nowadays. And that's the topic of astrology and astrological charts and cosmic influences on our lives.
Yes.
And it's something that I've laughed at again in the past, that, oh, you know, all this is not real, etc. And I've just come to realize that there is some logic behind it.
Yes.
And I've got into reading about it as well.
Yes.
and be it like the Western school of thinking, which talks about sun signs, be it the Indian, Egyptian astrological charts, which talk about Rahu, Ketu, and all these things, they are all linked. They are all kind of connected from a sort of scientific perspective, almost like the mathematics of all of them are the same. But lots of people don't understand it. And after we've spoken about meditation, willpower, etc., I'd love for you to kind of give people a briefing on where your astrological charts have an influence on your reality of life. For example, when they have 12 houses of astrology and one's supposed to represent your personality, one represents your married life, one represents your career, etc., etc. A lot of times that could be true if it's read out by like a high level astrologer, someone who knows their stuff. He'll or she will say some very accurate things about you. And that's how people even get into astrology. My understanding is that all of this melts away when you get into your sadhana or meditation. But I would love to hear it from your perspective. And how much truly melts away? That's the other
Depends on the individuals.
Okay.
Yeah? So what is the astrological chart? It is something that was prepared a day or two after the baby was born. For most families.
Yeah.
A child is born and they will get the chart prepared. Child has not done any karma and the destiny chart is prepared. That at the age of 10, this will happen. At the age of 20, this will happen. And then we'll get married and then we'll have 2 children. And at this age, it's not going to be very good for 7 years or 5 years. Everything is written down very, very clearly. Written on the basis of the child has not done any karma. So if karma creates my destiny, how is it that my destiny chart is prepared before I've done any karma? So obviously because it's the destiny chart of the soul, not the destiny chart of this body. So it has nothing to do with this age. So I, the soul, am in this costume and this is my last minute. I'm about to leave. Till this last minute, my every karma and sanskar is on the soul and I leave the body. I leave everything behind. But the only thing I take with me is my karma and my sanskar. So I will call this last minute as the closing balance sheet. That's your closing balance sheet. The soul enters into the womb of the mother. Couple of months later, a baby is born and the destiny chart is prepared. That is the opening balance sheet. So the opening balance sheet is going to be identical to the closing balance sheet.
Gotcha.
Identically hogi na. Our 31st March closing balance sheet in India is next day, 1st April, it's the opening balance sheet. So what is in the 31st March closing balance sheet? The way I did business in this financial year. So they could be good, they could be bad, they could be profit, they could be my every transaction will come there. And now I take this whole bunch of transaction into, I've just changed a costume. For the soul, it's nothing, just another day. But I've changed the costume. So that balance sheet is now the opening balance sheet, which is given to the family 2 days after the baby is born. What is it based on? It is based on the sanskar and the karma that the soul has come with. Astrology means the science of the influence of the planets on my sanskar. And this I've discussed with an astrologer, a very senior one of India. And I said, I went to him very raw because I would not study this for myself. I've never studied it or seen it.
You don't know your own? Okay.
Because I'm sure it's changed. It's not as per what was in the chart. My parents would have known it otherwise. It's not.
And it's changed based on the lifestyle and decisions you made in this life.
Yeah, because that was only the opening balance sheet. That is what is very important. What many of us do is keep referring to the opening balance sheet as if that is the way life is going to be. It is the opening balance sheet only based on my yesterday. Yesterday means whatever I've come with. So influence of planets on the sanskar. Meditation is going to melt what? My sanskars. So whatever sanskars change in this lifetime, for the good or sometimes not for the good. So with meditation, I can change my sanskar for the good, sometimes due to any other influence or my sanskar changes towards the other side also. The influence of the planet will change. And so those predictions where your sanskar has changed will not turn out to be true. Those predictions where your sanskar has not changed will turn out to be true. And so if anyone goes with their astrological chart at whichever age, they will see that some things have turned out to be as per in the chart, and some things have not turned out to be as per in the chart, depending on how much change the soul has created. Which means, did you change your way of doing business in this financial year? So somebody can come with profit, very good karmas of the past. Suppose they do not do some good karmas in this, their profit balance sheet will now start shifting towards a loss. Somebody could come with heavy losses, but if they do, so like meditation or whatever method they choose, they start doing good karma, good sanskar, the balance sheet of this financial year will go towards good profit. So the prediction will not always turn out to be
It's
true.
like your default settings, which
That-
can be like
That is the
changed.
beginning setting, actually. It's not even a default setting. It is the beginning. It's like, okay, again, now we go back to you. Last night's meal, upset stomach. I'm sorry, I'm using
No,
it
it's
as
all
a
good.
reference,
It's all
but it's
good.
making sense. The last night's meal, upset stomach in the morning. No problem. Last night's karma, present consequence. If you again go and have a very heavy breakfast now, so then you're again doing a similar type of karma, which means your sanskar is making you eat. In spite of learning that it didn't suit me well, you are forced to do it through your sanskar because you're not changing your sanskar. So if you go and again have something which is not right for your body or you overeat, the same consequence is going to come again. And then your doctor will say, I told you this will happen again. They told you based on your sanskar this morning because of what you ate last night. But if after what happened today, you say, okay, today I'm going to eat less, I'm going to eat light, I'm going to eat healthy, your destiny is going to change today. So you are the creator of your destiny. Similarly, if you take a blood test today, let's say, and you go to a doctor, he'll see your present parameters. If my sugar is on the borderline based on my lifestyle, and the doctor says, okay, if you continue like this, probably within 6 months or 1 year, we are on the borderline of diabetes. I come back home, that is my destiny chart, my blood report, and I say, oh, but what to do? I can't change my lifestyle, late nights, work, and I don't have time to exercise. Victim of my lifestyle. Then I will definitely get diabetes, probably even before the prediction, because now I always also have an added stress of my health. But if someone comes back and says, okay, today this changed, this changed, this changed, and this changed, you never get diabetes in this lifetime. So the scientific prediction was true. What the doctor said was true, but it was based on my today's lifestyle and my today's blood report. If I change my lifestyle tomorrow, so the astrological prediction is only a prediction. So the word prediction needs to be underlined. It's only a prediction, which means it's a probability. Reality will be decided by the individual. But many people will consume the probability
and make the
and
reality
make
happen.
it their reality. So I personally prefer not to consume the probability, because why? Let's create the best of karma. And if something has to happen because I've passed consequence, we'll face it with dignity.
Yeah.
But if the mind consumes information of a probability, then many minds are not able to rise above that and create a different reality. So astrological prediction is a science of the probability of what can happen in my life based on my current sanskars and the karma that I have come with. You start meditation, start changing your lifestyle, and you will change your sanskar, and the probability will be different from what the reality you will create.
If meditation is sort of one of the key factors of human existence, in terms of, that's the other thing I've realized in this same argument, that it's much more important to progress spiritually. It's much more important to wash off your emotional patterns, the wrong ones at least. And it's much more important to give time to these kind of thoughts and these kind of philosophies, because it'll give you a sense of peace in your day-to-day life. Then why is romance even a part of human life? Why is like when we watch a World Cup and you see India winning a World Cup, why does that make you feel so much emotion? If the actual truth of human life is, listen, sit in one place, get into your sadhana, definitely help people around you, be kind. If life is that simple, why do these other factors exist? Is it to distract us from what we're meant to do?
Yeah. Getting into sadhana doesn't mean you're not going to do your roles and responsibilities, or whether relationships, whether your work, your profession. Spirituality is not a different life. It's not. It's not two lives. So that's why many people often, like you said, so what had happened? What brought you here? So nothing has to happen because we've not moved anywhere else. It's not a different life. Spirituality is the way to be in your life. In your life, not create a different life. So if you are an actor, you continue acting. If you are a cricketer, you continue playing cricket, but you're just doing it with a different frame of mind. That is meditation and spirituality. So whatever you're doing, the vibration of who you are will change in your doing. But you don't have to stop what you are doing to work on your sadhana. Sadhana is not something that we're going to do throughout the day. Throughout the day, we will do the sadhana in activity. Here, not just sit in stillness. That's not meditation and spirituality. It's like charge your phone in the morning. You don't have to charge it throughout the day. Charge your phone in the morning. So charge yourself in the morning. Come into activity using your phone. But while using your phone, you check that you're not depleting your power. So keeping it charged with the quality of your karma. So we're not going to leave what we are doing, but when we work on the inner being, the quality of what we are doing is of a different vibration. And you're not doing it to, let's say, I would not do it for happiness. I would not do it for appreciation, but I would do it with happiness. Which means you're not doing it to feel good, but you're feeling good and then doing it. So you're not using what you're achieving to feel good, but you're already feeling good and radiating that into what you're doing. So you're not becoming sucking from the world, but you are giver to the world.
What about romance? Like, why does it exist? Like, in terms of, and I'll tell you why. The only place that ever answered this question I've always had since I was a kid. Firstly, I've always looked at married couples and asked myself, why even, like, why is marriage even a thing? Why does a man and a woman have to come together? Okay, maybe for reproduction, like creating a new life. But why is it a thing? Like, if you actually go down to the real why, like when we were just 2,000, 3,000 human beings on the surface of the earth, who decided this?
Yes.
Parallelly, whoever you're with romantically can have such a huge impact on your personality, can have such a huge impact on how you view the world, how
Yes.
you view decisions. It's almost like having a very good or very bad habit in your life.
Yes.
Is that the reason? That's one question. Second, in the West, when they're trying to understand spirituality, and I actually appreciate that people there are asking those inner questions,
Yes.
but sometimes they're also misled, and there's these other little morphed concepts that come out. I don't know if this is a morphed concept or not, and I'd love to know what the Indian perspective is. It's called the twin flames concept, like when two souls meet each other in one life, and you feel like very intense about it, and both those souls feel like you were meant to meet, and there's like fireworks, and it may or may not last, but you were very much meant to meet at that point in the timeline.
Yeah.
Is that the purpose of romance? Like, you're meant to meet certain friends who will have a certain impact on you.
Everyone you meet in a close energy circle, which means not just friends, parents, siblings, anybody who's in your close karmic account in this costume, you've met them before. You've met them before. You're not meeting them first time. So we are souls on the journey, changing our costumes. They are also souls on the journey, changing their costume. Our present relationship with them is a carry forward of how the past relationship was. Not necessarily in the past relationship, I was a parent and child or a husband and wife. No. But I, the soul, and you, the soul, knew each other in any kind of an interaction. It's like, suppose we are meeting today for the first time. Now, this is a meeting. Now, depends on what quality this meeting goes. Does it go on a very harmonious meeting? Or does it get bitter? If there's an argument and it gets bitter, and then we go our way, and next month we happen to meet again somewhere, the second meeting will definitely get influenced by how the first meeting went. So if the first meeting was a little bitter, the next meeting will be a little uncomfortable. And if the next meeting, neither of us makes an effort to make it better, then the second meeting will even get tougher. We might probably just ignore each other. We might just look away. So it started because of the effect of the first meeting. But in the second meeting, also, neither of us did a good karma to resolve that bitterness and to heal the energy. We did. 6 months later, we meet again at a friend's place. Now it's the third meeting. But the third meeting will first start with the influence of the previous two meetings. Again, now depends in the third meeting what karma you and me do. If we continue making it worse every meeting, that means the karmic account is getting bitter and bitter and bitter. So some of our karmic accounts in this lifetime are not very happy ones. They might start on a very, but then they sometimes are a cause of a lot of pain. Pain can be in any form. Maybe continuously in the relationship there is pain. Maybe someone loses somebody, there is pain, but there becomes pain in that karmic account. So even if my some relationship is not in a very good energy in this lifetime, it's like my third or fourth meeting, one of the two has to change the karma. Don't let it carry forward like this, because it's only going to get. So it started with a simple argument, went to ignoring each other. Third, absolute indifference. Fourth, talking ill about each other to the other guests who are saying, why aren't you talking to each other? So every next meeting gets worse.
And will you keep meeting that person until you sort it out?
You will keep meeting that person because that person is in your very strong karmic pattern cycle. You don't meet only the ones which are with the bitter energy. You are always meeting also the ones which are very
Positive.
beautiful. Anyone with whom I have a strong karmic account, I will keep meeting. So the ones which are beautiful, we continue making them even better. But the ones which are a little uncomfortable, we should sort them out.
Do you think we have met before?
Of course, we can't meet like this again otherwise.
And have this kind of a conversation?
Yes. It just happened. So there was no struggle. It just happened. So everything is very, once you understand the karma and karmic connections, how it works, life becomes so simple. We don't live a life of blame saying, why are they doing this to me? Why did this happen to me? How could they do this to me? It's like, what karma do I have to do now with this person? So put aside the ego. This is again where meditation will help, to put aside the ego and be the first one to do the right karma now in that relationship. You might not get right energy from there because they are still in the pain of what I have done last time with them. Continue. But because now you are energizing yourself, you have the ability to radiate good energy, even if you're not getting good energy from the other side. You're able to do that. This is your spiritual stamina which is building up. So this is what I have to check. If I have been meditating, am I being able to genuinely being nice, not just being nice here? Am I be able to genuinely being nice even to those who are not right to me? Then my spiritual stamina is building up. So then I'm creating good karma in this meeting, and then my past karmic account is settling. So that's what you said. Will the consequence still come if we are meditating? Yes, it will. But when that consequence comes, my present karma quality is now changed. So I'm not going to suffer. I'm going to settle that past karmic account. So everyone we are meeting, not just the twin flame is not just for that relationship. Parent and a child, sibling, twins there, friends, anybody you meet and you suddenly feel, oh, I connect very well with this person. Somebody you meet and you say, I just can't stand this person. It could be at work. We have met before. So we are all continuing with our karmic accounts. Spirituality helps us to create good karmic accounts and to clean any uncomfortable karmic account that we have created before.
Is there a purpose of marriage in modern human society?
Yeah, it's their choice. It's a choice. It's an absolute choice.
Why should you make that choice?
It's up to the individual, depending on their sanskar and karma. They've already carried that karmic pattern. It would be written in their destiny chart.
If they have to get married or not.
Because they've already created that karmic account as to who is going to be
the one. That's pre-decided.
That's pre-decided.
What about couples that end up getting divorced?
That is also pre-decided. If they change their present karma, then that divorce will not happen. So if you have that written in your, because some people can see it in their destiny chart, oh, this marriage will happen, but it will not last for very long. Take it up. Take it up that this marriage will last because I'm going to change my present karma. That is what it means. Don't live like a, victim of only that balance sheet. Create new karma. Change the way you're doing business now. And you're not going to live just based on what you started the financial year with. So don't hold that destiny chart like a reality manual. It's a probability manual, not a reality manual. I create my reality. So even if there's anything written which is not very, we can change it. But we just have to put genuine effort. That's where meditation and spirituality definitely helps, because you can't just put effort unless you energize yourself. It's like you can't build up your stamina physically unless you do something for it, whatever you choose to do. But you have to do something to build up the stamina. So something has to be done to start creating the right karma.
Feel free not to even talk about this if you don't wish to. Okay. And I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts from archaeologists and people who study ancient human history and these kind of things. And they spoke about what a big role natural substances have played in the expansion of human consciousness in the past. And this is not ganja, cannabis, it's not things like that. Because that's for recreation. This is like higher experiences. There's something called ayahuasca from South America. There is psilocybin mushrooms. Peyote was used by Native Americans to expand consciousness and to kind of experience higher spiritual states, come back down to the human experience, and then chase those same things using meditation. I believe even in India, we had a culture of som ras, whatever it was.
Yes.
They say that the last 3-4 generations of the world are the only generations that have not really like used these substances, because all the other generations in the world history have had a history of using these using these substances. The question is, one, why have the last 3-4 generations stopped using it? Again, this is not us encouraging drug use or anything like that. And two, do you believe that there are these like magical herbs out there that give you higher experiences, which make you understand that there are other worlds kind of merged in our world? There are other beings with us which you're able to probably see. There are messages out there that you're able to take in. These kind of higher experiences you get in meditation. There are actually sort of fast track ways to just get a glimpse of it and then come back down.
I don't know about these substances, but if there's any substance which can give you an experience, but then you cannot stay in that experience, then there's of no use of taking that substance. You have to create that experience. You have to create that experience on your journey. If some substance is just making you feel high, not divine. Divine is what is the result of a meditation and spirituality, not just a high feeling. Those are more a distraction where my other emotions are like, it's like shutting down the files.
Are you familiar with Som?
Somras Jo, which we talk about.
Yeah.
See, again, that is what we're hearing about what's written in the scriptures, right? Okay, Somras. Then Shivratri pe we have Bhang. So why is that Bhang? What is the significance of Bhang? Would anybody really have Bhang on the day when they have to connect to the divine? No. That Bhang, actually, everything that we listen to and we read, it is actually supposed to give a spiritual meaning to it. We are looking at it in a physical way. It means that when you connect to the divine, you will experience intoxication, a spiritual intoxication. To be able to show it in terms of a form of a presentation or a story, I'm making it physical and saying, so they had Bhang and so they were intoxicated. So it is not the intoxication of the bhang, it is the intoxication of the spiritual connection that you had with the divine. So everything that we do on a festival, for example, all our rituals, they are not actually physical. They all have a meaning of what we are supposed to create inside, but to explain it to people that, do this and then this is what you will do. But later on, as time progressed, so from the Copper Age, Dwapar Yuga, we were given these little things to learn how we should be. But now that we are in the Kalyug and in the end of Kalyug, we're only doing the rituals, celebrating the festival, but not taking the spiritual lesson from that. For example, now we will have Ganesh Chaturthi, then we will have Navratri, then we will have Dasera, then we will have Diwali. They are not just festivals which have to be celebrated outside. So Ganesh Chaturthi means becoming that one who is able to destroy the obstacles, the Vighan Vinashak Ganesh, which means the destroyer of the obstacles. Who's going to be the destroyer of the obstacles? I have to be the destroyer of the obstacles. I have to be the one who should be able to finish the sorrow and radiate happiness to all. So the Dukkha Harta, Sukha Karta. So Sri Ganesh Ji teaches us that, the ears should be such that you just filter out everything. The trunk should be such that you're loveful and lawful, that you're able to pick up a needle. You're also able to uproot a tree. So you are sharp, but yet you are strong. So everything about Sri Ganesh Ji. Then comes Navratri. So the 8 arms of the deity. It doesn't mean somebody was born with 8 arms. It is symbolic. So it is teaching us that every soul has 8 powers. The power to withdraw, the power to discern, the power to adjust, the power to judge, the power to cooperate. Now those 8 powers of the soul, how should I show it? In a diagram. So I show it as 8 arms. Then we have Ravan with 10 heads. That doesn't mean there was somebody with 10 heads. So those 10 heads are our 10 vices: lust, greed, jealousy. So when I finish my 10 vices, there will be Diwali. So Diwali is lighting the diya. So lighting the diya means being a giver. Diya means to give. And when one lights the diya, then you will have the power to light the other one's diya. This is all symbolic for us to do something here. So Somras and Bhang is also symbolic. It doesn't mean I have to have that substance to experience that intoxication. I have to experience that intoxication, which I will experience if I have the divine connection.
Yeah. You mentioned Mata right now, with 8 arms and all that. When it comes to this aspect of divine feminine in our culture, I have like so many questions. Like I want to have a deeper understanding of it. And let me begin this conversation by asking you what the reality of being a woman is. And I'll tell you why. On this show, we've had a lot of male monks. I think I don't know if I can call you like a monk, like the first female sort of spiritual leader who's come on the show. And this question is coming from a place of having gone to a meet and greet in 2018. And a girl had actually asked me that why are there fewer female spiritual leaders in our country than male? And I had no answer. I didn't even know what to say. So now I'm asking you that question. Like, do you think that's true, firstly? And secondly, like, what is the reality of being a woman? And thirdly, then we'll go into a whole Mata conversation.
See, once you are living with the consciousness that you are a soul, that consciousness of being a woman doesn't remain.
Okay.
Because soul consciousness is not a concept. It's a way of living. So before understanding that, I will live in a consciousness that I'm a girl. So I'm going 25 years back. So who am I? I'm a girl. So I will perceive everything through that consciousness. I'm an engineer. Now I will start seeing through that consciousness. I am a Hindu or I am an Indian. So that's my consciousness of who I am. Consciousness is like a lens. So depending on the lens I wear, I will perceive everything in the world. So when I'm in the consciousness, I'm a girl, and I'm going to say, you are a boy. Then that difference is there. I am rich, you are not. I am Hindu, you are Muslim. These are all my lenses. These are lenses of everything that I have achieved and acquired in this lifetime. But spirituality meant removing all these lenses because they are not my true identity. It's like removing all these labels and coming back to who I am. And now, practicing, I'm living in that consciousness. I'm a soul talking to another soul. So I would not even remember this thing.
Male, female.
No, because that's been the practice of 25 years. And it's the aim is to reach there to a stage where I will never come out of that consciousness.
Do you think that because of the way our society is, and often girls in small towns are...
That's a conditioning of society. As a soul, you have been in female bodies. You have been in female bodies. Okay? And you have been in male bodies. So have I. So every soul has all the sanskars. So, but when the baby is born, so now in this birth, I'm born in a female body. Now the social conditioning will start. A girl should be like this, a girl should be like this, a girl should be like this. So, with that social conditioning, some of my sanskars will be coming into activity and some of my sanskars will get merged. It's because of my present conditioning. But every soul has all the sanskars. There's no such thing as feminine sanskars, masculine. No, it's the sanskars of the soul, not sanskars of the body. But when I take birth in a particular body, the world will say, you should be using this sanskar. So the world will say, speak like this, don't speak like this. Laugh like this, don't laugh like this. Walk like this, don't walk like this. The society is teaching me and making me create that sanskar. And some of us don't do it. Some of us don't get affected by what society is saying. Then society will say, oh, this girl is behaving very boyish. Or this boy is behaving very feminine. Because the soul has both the sanskars. It all depends which sanskar you are going to use in your lifetime. So the sanskar doesn't depend on the gender. The sanskar is of the soul, and every soul has been in.
Yeah. I want to ask you about this divine feminine angle. Like, this is there actually in all of the world's religions. We've had Dr. Ajay Prabhakar on the show, who's an Africanist, and he studied all of world cultures. He said something very interesting. He said that in parts of Africa, they have their own version of Shivji, but it's depicted as a woman. It's depicted as sort of the feminine aspect of Shivji. Then in India, obviously, we have like Mata culture. They do have feminine entities in Egyptian culture as well, in Native American culture. What were our ancestors trying to tell us when they even divided it into male and female? Or was that their flaw that they couldn't look beyond gender?
Can we go back to the cycle again? The golden age and the silver age, souls are divine. It's on this planet. It's not the golden age, silver age is nowhere, somewhere else. In the golden age, silver age, there's no religion. Because the soul is perfect, body is perfect, nature is perfect. There's no experience of pain. And so you don't even think of the divine. That's what is called paradise. You can call it heaven, call it paradise, call it swarg, call it satyug, call it golden age. After the afternoon, which means when the evening starts, golden age and silver age, we are natural soul conscious. These souls are divine souls. And so they are called as deities today. Deities not by a religion. Deities not by a religion. Just the whole society, the whole community is a divine soul. Everybody. It's the morning of the day. It's the morning of the day. Then collective consciousness reduces. When you come by copper age, the soul has taken birth, used costumes. Gradually, we start getting attached to the body, and I start forgetting just the trace, not what I am today. Just the trace, I start forgetting I am a soul, and I start getting attached to my body, and I start looking at the other person also as what is visible. So that is when the first trace, not like today, the first trace of ego, the first trace of lust, the first trace of greed, the first trace. Today is like peak. So just when that first trace starts, the divinity of society starts just little waning off. That is when religion starts. Religion means teachers, philosophers, who come to start teaching us to go back to who we were. It's like a child moving away from their potential. So there is a teacher brought in to say, like, take care of this child. So religious heads, prophets, everybody was teaching us one thing. God is one. We are a family. And then peace is our religion, love, unity. That is where from the copper age, we have all the prophets, religious heads, teachers, philosophers. They all came with one message. We did not connect to the teaching. We started connecting to the teacher. There again was ego consciousness. So I said that my teacher is different from you. So we suddenly became different. Reached to a stage, end of Iron Age, where we are fighting in the name of religion. Whereas religion was in the name of bringing us together. but not taking religion as a teaching, but only what we are doing in terms of a lifestyle. We thought you're different, I am different, this one's different, that one is different. And today we've divided into some major religions on the planet. And then those religions also got further divided. So we started only moving away from what was the truth. So there are two words, dharam and karam. Dharam means religion. Religion means the religion of the soul. And karam is my action, my behavior. So what was taught to us by all teachers was the truth, but everybody will have a different way of teaching it. Right? If someone had to describe this candle, everyone will describe it differently. Somebody will describe it with a story. Somebody will describe it with a metaphor. Somebody will describe it with a poem. But they're all talking about the same candle. So what every teacher was teaching us about the powers of the soul, the quality of the soul, the dharam of the soul, which means the religion of the soul, and what is our potential. Everyone was teaching method different, examples different, metaphors different, presentation different. As time progressed, we are forgetting the essence. We are forgetting what they were teaching. We are only focused on the example, the metaphor, and the presentation. And that's where we say, what you're saying is different, what I'm saying is different, what that religion is teaching is different. No religion is teaching different. Everyone's teaching the same thing. So go to the core, the essence. So when we say the feminine energy, again, it's not feminine energy. It's the soul power. It's the soul power. But it is called Shiv and Shakti. That's why it's said as feminine. It's called Shiv and Shakti. So Shiv is for the divine power, supreme soul, again called by different names, but that's just a name. We can say supreme soul, I can say God, I can say Paramatma, I can say Allah, I can say word different. Reality is one. Then in Hinduism, I can say Shiv. It's a name. So you are one. Different people can call you by different names. But if I forget who you are and only look at the names, I will think you're two different people. But actually, you're one person just being called by different names. So God and soul, they are the two energies. God and soul, supreme soul and soul. So somebody said Shiv and Shakti, Paramatma and Atma. But it is not male and female. It's not male and female. It is Paramatma and Atma. They are the two entities on this planet, God and souls. Then the souls have then presented it in a different way. So when we say the Shakti, it is the Shakti. Shakti means power. So whose power?
Your own.
Your own power. So how do I present that power? How do I explain to somebody these powers? And how does somebody worship those powers? Because people wanted to worship that Shakti. Actually, they were taught to us for us to imbibe that Shakti, to invoke that Shakti. Not invoke that Shakti like this, invoke that Shakti like this. We are invoking from there as if somebody is going to come from there. Invoke the Shakti within.
Yeah. Also, because this is a duality-based concept, there's two things. I think the easiest duality for a human mind to understand is male and
That's
female.
all. But it's actually Shiv and Shakti means the supreme soul and soul. Paramatma and Atma. God and I.
When we spoke about religions on earth and fighting each other and ego battles and religions then getting further divided in themselves and saying my religion is better than your religion, etc. Let's take the entire human population and move them to the moon and then look back at our earth as one blue ball, and everything that's ever happened in human history is on that blue ball. Now when you take it really, really far into space, the earth becomes one dot in like a galaxy of things. My question to you is about the galaxy. Is that the purpose of space and planets, to teach us how small and insignificant we are?
And also to know who we are. It's not about we are insignificant. All this is not happening because we have forgotten, but it is happening because we have forgotten who I am. If just visualize that tomorrow you forget who you are. You forget that you are Ranveer. How will life be? You forget who you are. You forget who is your family. You forget you do this podcast. You just forget everything. Some people go through that, no? Just forget. How will life become? How will life be?
Challenging.
That's what life is today.
We've forgotten our source.
I've forgotten who I am. I've forgotten who you are. I've forgotten the purpose of me being here.
We've forgotten that we are one.
Yes. I have forgotten who is my divine parent. I have forgotten what is my potential. I have forgotten what is my Shakti. So I am looking for it, everything outside who I actually am. So every teacher, right from corporate to even today, is teaching us only that, to come back to our religion. Religion, the religious teachers, so Jesus Christ, Gautam Buddha, Muhammad, Mahavir, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Shri Sai Baba, they didn't come to divide us. They, in fact, did not come to establish a religion. They were not establishing a religion. They were teaching religion. They were teaching religion. Religion means dharam. Dharam means the duty, the quality of the soul. हम कहते हैं आपका क्या धर्म है, which means what is your duty. So the duty or the quality of the soul is purity, peace, love, power, wisdom, and bliss. These are the 7 qualities of the soul. So every teacher came to teach us only that this is your dharam, bring it into your every karam, and this is the dharam of every soul. So they did not come to create religions, they came to teach religion. Had we connected to the teaching, we would have all been, because we would have said, oh, we're all learning the same thing and we're implementing the same thing. We did not connect so much to the teaching. And as time progressed and we reached the Iron Age, we were only connecting to the teacher. And then under the teacher, there were more teachers. So within one religion also, then different teachers. Now, a different teacher will always say the same concept in a little different manner. 2 people cannot teach the same thing in the identical manner. But just because 2 people presented the same concept of dharam in 2 different manners, we went and got divided again. I follow this one. I follow. We were not supposed to follow people. We were supposed to follow what they were sharing. And follow means follow, not follow. Follow. Follow it. Make it a part of your life. So we are supposed to follow religion. And if we follow religion, we will all become united. But then body consciousness and ego consciousness reach to such a stage that today we're becoming intolerant. We can't, we're ready to. We know what's happening.
You know, speaking about tolerance again, I've been reading a lot about something called cataclysmic events, which basically means that every sort of 10,000, 15,000 years or so, there's some events that happen in the Earth cycle which just destroy everything. Like that's how the dinosaurs also died. That's how human populations have constantly kind of been boiled down to nothingness and then grown out of there. And this is the history we're not taught in schools. This is the history that archaeologists are suggesting actually existed. For example, they found batteries inside the pyramids. So who's to say that ancient cultures also, they probably were technologically advanced. Right. And the only reason we don't have remnants of their cultures because time and nature destroys everything, including plastic, over 3,000 years. So in the 3 lakh years of human history, how many times have we seen cataclysmic events? How many times have we seen things eroding away? You know, and the kind of big message from our ancestors, according to archaeologists, is 1, take care of nature, and 2, have balance between the duality of life. Have balance between what they call male and female aspect. But after this particular episode, that's become clearer. So before I let you go, Sister Shivani, I've got to ask you one personal question, as in it's not about me. It's just a question in my heart. What is the purpose of outer space? Like the universe, we know it's out there. Ancient humans knew it's out there. Ancient humans also knew that asteroids come from there. You know, that these are things out of our control. For example, there's something called the torrid meteor stream that hits Earth every 10,000 years or so, and it's been responsible for all these events. What are we supposed to make of the big nothingness out there? Is that God's way of saying that, listen, you're very small? Or is it something else? Are we supposed to go out there like Elon Musk is trying to occupy Mars? And then I'm sure, we've had an astronaut on the show as well who explained to me that space travel works in increments.
Right.
So first you'll figure out how to go to the moon, then you'll figure out how to go to Mars, then you'll figure out how to go to the next planet, etc., etc. But what is the purpose of space? Why does it exist?
This is astronomy, no? Spirituality will teach us something different.
Okay.
We have to go, but we are going to go to the soul world, which is beyond
This universe?
Yeah, where did we come from? And why is the population still increasing? Population has always been on the increase.
Is it because animals are turning into human beings?
No, animal doesn't become a human being.
Okay.
A human soul will take birth as a human soul with your sanskar and with your karmic account. But why is population still increasing? Population is increasing because we're coming from the soul world. And that's why, if you see people say, oh, I want mukti, I want moksha, I want to get out of this thing. And we always look up somewhere. We're not very clear what's there up somewhere. But we keep saying, I want to go home. I want to come out of this birth, rebirth cycle. Even when we think of the divine, when we think of God, we go there. The place of worship or the temple could be here in my room. But when I say God, I'll go there. So the soul has a very faint memory of where we have come from, who we were with, we are here, and how we will go back. And that is that timing which is coming now. When things which are happening will happen, everything that the world is preparing for, then we will go in big numbers. There's a very big shift that's going to happen. The golden age population is not going to be the population of Iron Age.
Much smaller?
Very small. So gradually from golden age, silver age, copper age, iron age, population goes on.
Increasing and then decreasing.
And in the last 150 years, the population has increased. And it's still increasing, which means some souls are still coming. So just try and visualize this beyond everything that science knows. Because science can only know that what is visible through a machine or through where I can travel physically. Wherever you go, whether it's to the moon or to the Mars, you're going physically. So that's the physical world, what we call the universe. The soul will travel to the soul world. There's no body that's going there. Everywhere here, every planet, we are going with this body. So there's a soul world which is beyond everything that science knows. So let's call it home. Let's call it home. Let's call God the parent, and we're all the children. So just visualize little stars, just like the stars we see in the sky at night. These souls in the soul world. And then as per what frequency I take myself to by the end of this cycle. This is a cycle, like you said, those cycles. What vibrational frequency I take myself to by the end of this Iron Age, and what things will happen on the planet. Souls will go to the soul world. So let's say I take myself up to 50, hypothetically on a vibration of 10 to 100. Somebody takes themselves up to 90. Somebody takes themselves up to 100. And then we're all there. Okay, so now visualize all the souls, different purity level, different vibrational level. Now the planet. And there's never a time when there is no soul on the planet. So when we say destruction, it's not that the world comes to an end. It'll never come to an end, but it'll go through a transformation. But the transformation is so gradual that you won't even come to know that there's a transition that is happening, where we will be going and we will also be coming. It's like you're working throughout the day, you'll go home and come back to work. So now visualize almost all of us are back home and the golden age has started, which we created with our vibration. So the golden age, hypothetically, let's call it a frequency of 100, which means the best. So those souls who took themselves up to 100 will automatically get pulled down. Automatic. There's nothing, God is not sending us, okay, now you go, now you go. It's depending on where I took myself up to. Those souls will come down in the golden age. By silver age, let's say it's 80. The souls who are 80 will come down. Copper age, let's say it's 50. The souls who reached up to 50 will come down. Iron age is Souls are still coming. So that's something, if you experience in your meditation, you'll be able to start seeing this. You can actually go to the soul world using the power of your mind and intellect and see this is the home, this is that divine parent. Connect with that divine parent, because only connecting to the higher power will start raising your frequency. It's like, again, connecting the phone to the powerhouse. You have to connect. A battery connecting to a battery cannot charge, but a battery connecting to a powerhouse. So, this is the time, the change of cycle, where souls will be going home, which the souls are asking for. Oh, we want to go, we want mukti, we want to go home. And then we will start coming as per our vibrational frequency, and the world will again come into a cycle. So, what you said, it goes into a cycle. Yes, it goes into a cycle. And there is a destruction, but destruction doesn't mean everything finish, but yes, a lot of upheaval. A lot of upheaval.
And we're going through one right now.
We are, and it's only going to increase. It's obvious. We can see what's happening on the planet, whether it's in terms of environment, whether it's in terms of.
And these things have happened before.
These things have happened before. It's a cycle. Morning was there before. Afternoon, evening, night was there before. The cycle is only repeating. So this will be a time of a lot of upheaval, but along with that, a time of awakening. So it's like the old house crumbling and the new house under construction. There's never going to be a time where we are without a house. So we are all instrumental by working on our sanskars and vibration. We're all helping to construct the new house. So each one of us, each one who is trying to raise their vibration in whichever manner they feel right, which means creating a shift in yourself. Yeah, everybody's talking about the shift. So the shift in the planet will only happen with the shift in the individual. There's nobody else who will come and shift the energy of the planet. We create our world. So every individual today, just ask yourself, do I want to shift in this direction? Or do I want to shift in this direction? If I'm shifting in this direction, it's not just a personal shift. I'm contributing to creating the world shift. I'm a part of that tipping point population who's going to be instrumental in changing the night into the morning. But before that, we will go to the soul world. And we will come back with our frequency, vibration.
Is it fair to say that space is just a reminder of us to like look up and go beyond?
Of course. Knowing that the world is not just
us,
not just this much what we know about and what is visible. There's much, much, much more beyond that also.
Sister Shivani, I think we've reached the end of this episode. I hope the experience was all right for you.
Beautiful, not all right.
Okay.
Not all right. All right is a very it's a beautiful
even
experience.
with the iconic start we had on the show.
Do you know how beneficial that was? We were able to learn so much because of that. So everything that happens is for a very good reason. We understand how cleansing happens. We understand how our karma creates a consequence. And most important, we understand how we feel after the cleansing. So like we feel that, your face changed after that.
Yeah, I got empty enough to absorb things.
No, so your face changed, which means when I remove any clutter from my life, mind or body, it will show on your face.
Right.
So the ego also rips apart like this, and then there is purity, humility on the face when we remove our clutter. And so it was a very good scene.
Yes, Sister Shivani, I want to thank you,
so
for
much.
sharing all the learnings, and I want to thank God for using me as a metaphor today. So
Yes, absolutely.
Very different experience, but every podcast teaches me one lesson. And from today's show, what I learned is that the human experience of life is like clay, and you can make it exactly what you wish. And ideally, if you turn it into a clay which is related to you going beyond this world, that's the best kind of use of the clay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. That was the episode for today. Thank you for listening to the entire piece. If you've reached this point of the episode, the joy of podcasting is multifold, right? Like you get to learn other people's life lessons. You get to experience other people's lives through the course of conversations. But when you have interactions like this, where you're speaking to older, great souls, there is some sort of energy that rubs off on your outlook of the world as well. BKShivani was a very highly requested episode, and as is the case with all the other spiritual episodes, I feel like they come into my life at the point that I need to hear some of the things that she spoke about. After the camera stopped rolling, I asked her for a piece of advice for myself, and she said that immerse yourself into the thought that you are simply the instrument of creation and you're being used by a higher power in order to create his or her will in today's day and age, in today's world. That simple thought has given me an immense amount of motivation and an immense amount of drive to take the story forward. It's not easy to create 3 podcasts every week, but I feel that with your support, the podcast is growing and you're growing with us. You're growing with me. I love that I get to live this life that I've chosen to live. I love that I've been chosen to live this kind of a life. And I love sharing my growth and my learnings with you all. Thank you for supporting us. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. Every episode's available on Spotify 48 hours before it's available anywhere else in the world. Lots of love to you. Keep supporting. Lots more spiritual content coming your way.